right, so we're back here, Gamer Tag Radio, and have the man himself, Blessing. Last time I had Blessing here, we talked about Fatal Fury.
Oh, yeah.
That was a lot of fun. Great conversation about fighting games. So we're going to do this again.
Yep.
And this time we're going to talk about the new Skybound game.
New Skybound game.
Yeah, it's called Invincible VS. Versus? Or is it
Versus.
VS or Versus?
I mean, it's spelled VS, but I assume, Invincible
Yeah.
Versus is how you call it.
Yeah, so we got some time to play the game. We got to see the trailer from the announcement. What you think of the trailer overall before we go talk about like the hands-on?
It was exciting.
Are you a fan of the series too?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So I watched the Amazon like cartoon specifically. I still want to go back and read the comics, but like I really enjoy watching Invincible on Amazon Prime. And when I watched the trailer, it was exciting because they didn't tell us what it was before they showed us. We got to see this before it got officially revealed behind the scenes. And so when they showed us the trailer, it was exciting because if you love Invincible and if you love fighting games, right, like automatically I was like, oh, this looks right. Like the art style reminds me of watching the cartoon. It's doing something a bit different because it's more 3D art. But I think they capture like the vibrancy of it pretty well. And like, I don't know, there's something about the personality and the characters and like kind of the violence of it that really works for Invincible. So I really enjoyed the trailer.
Yeah, because so when we got to the room, it was only like maybe 3 of us. I know it was like that.
Same for us. It was like 4 of us.
3, 4? Okay.
Yeah.
So we talked to the developer. So each developer sat down with us. We got to play the game. They were telling us a lot about the studio, about the how long they worked on the game, how that came about, like pitching the game to like Skybound or everything. So it was really cool. But when we watched the trailer, somebody said a joke about the first person that got killed in the trailer. I'm like, okay, whatever. Like I didn't get why they were saying that, and people started laughing. So then after, when we started playing the game, I started talking to the EP, the executive producer of the game. He told me that's him in the trailer that actually gets killed inside the car. I'm like, oh snap. And he also said, hey, maybe I'm wrong, he's also the announcer of the game.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I was like, oh snap, okay.
That's really cool.
I can see he also, him and some members of the team worked on the original, not the original, the Killers of 2013 for Xbox.
The Xbox One, yeah.
Xbox One before Iron Galaxy started working on season 2 and beyond. But they worked on that before Amazon acquired their studio. Then they left Amazon and they launched a new studio called Cordova.
Yep.
Yeah, so it was cool. It was a lot of fun playing the game overall. We played it for like a good 30 minutes or so. Like the first 30 minutes was more presentation and everything.
This one, it was like a very quick trip because we went in, they showed us the trailer, they then gave us a presentation, and so like kind of just went through, hey, this is what the game is, showed us the controls, explained the mechanics of it. So it is a 3v3 tag fighter, similar to something like Marvel versus Capcom, where you're tagging in and out, and the goal is to eliminate your opponent's 3 fighters before they eliminate you. And I think very much in feel, it kind of feels like you're playing Marvel versus Capcom. They have some unique stuff going on with it too, where you can do tag combos similar to MVC, where if you hold the tag button while doing some of the auto combo stuff, it'll automatically tag people in. And the auto combo stuff reminds me a bit of Dragon Ball FighterZ. Because if you play that, right, you tap square, 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 it'll automatically like give you a combo into a super, which is a bit more approachable than like I think fighting games have been in the past, right? And so it feels like it's being made for both like people who are might not be as hardcore into fighting games, but then at the same time, one of the questions our people asked, one of the press members asked during the presentation was, is this something that you want to bring to EVO? And they didn't like want to confirm anything.
That I asked the same exact question. Yep. They didn't want to say anything.
They didn't want to say anything, but like they implied that they want to make the rounds. Like they want to go to play. And like they also said, they described this as a like something that they want to see in tournaments. I think they might have said like tournament style or tournament ready like fighting game. Like they see this having a hardcore community. And so, you know, when I look at some of the stuff that they're doing, right, like you have the combos, but then also like, I don't know, you have like the different types of characters. You have Invincible has like a big roster, and so I forget the names of all the characters they had in their build, but it was only four. They had Invincible. They had oh, I don't remember. They had Adam Eve was another one. They had um the black dude who kind of has the same outfit as Invincible, but I never remember his name.
What about the one all white?
That was one of the
Newer characters, right? From like later in the season.
yeah, that's from like a recent season
Yeah.
of Invincible. Like she's one of the Viltrumite leaders, and she uses her hair to fight a lot.
On that, you will see another character in the trailer that's not in the actual demo that we got to play too. So I
Yeah,
don't remember or not, but
yeah.
yeah.
But yeah, like they had one of the questions I asked because like they had one of the people from the studio sitting with all of us who were playing. One of the questions I asked was like, one, how tough is it designing a fighting game around characters that are all just super powered characters, right? Because like a lot of the characters in Invincible are straight up Superman, like with
Yeah.
how they move and how they like what their superpowers are. And he acknowledged like yeah, he was like yeah, it's kind of tough, but then also thankfully we can. The way he was talking about it, right, is he was like approaching it the way you talk about fighting games. We have somebody that is up close. We can have somebody who's more of like about zoning in and like kind of coming back from afar. We have somebody like Adam Eve who is way more projectile based because she's more unique in her move set. And then the Viltrumite lady that was wearing all white, she has her hair, so she's like more mid range and kind of like Scorpion. She can kind of like shoot her hair at you and then pull you in. And so they play around a lot with the characters' personalities to design them around like the different play styles, which is exciting. And they wouldn't confirm how many characters they'll have in the game.
I counted the one that they have. Oh, that's like
Yeah,
a. It's not the
I did the same
official list.
thing.
You did okay. Okay.
Yeah, because there was like 17 character boxes, and most of them were great. We couldn't see most of the characters, right? We could only see the four. But I asked about it, and they were like, "Yeah, we don't have a confirmed number. We're just kind of trying to work on getting this game out by 2026." And one of the things they said they're working on currently is yeah, figuring out how to get more characters in the game.
Yeah, I also was talking with a couple of people like too, like how the hell you guys managed to pick the right like moves and something that they're known in the series, but there's so many. How can you fit all that in the
Hmm.
game? Like I know they were very picky and like, and also they worked with Skybound to see which one made more sense to put in the game. But there's so many characters like that. Probably like it's
Yeah,
like, oh, we can't add this, we got to remove that. Like I bet it was like really challenging on that part, you know.
I'm excited to see
Yeah.
that stuff.
And there was also we got to play 3 levels. One of them is
Mm.
Chicago. It looks like it was like downtown Chicago, but it was like all destroyed,
Yeah,
everything. There was also another one, I believe it was the moon,
the moon. Yeah,
and there was Himalayas, I believe was the
yeah.
third one. I can't remember. I know it
It
was
was like
like
an
ice.
outdoor, yeah,
Yeah, but cool thing is when you're in Chicago and you're fighting with one of the characters, you could also take him out of Earth, and it will go to like a different. Well, Earth
yeah,
location will take you to like a totally different location. So like
yeah. You
this
can
one was Moon.
yeah, like you could punch somebody from Chicago to the
To
moon,
the moon.
essentially,
Yeah.
which is really cool. It's funny because I know a lot of the comparisons are going to be to Marvel versus Capcom because it's a 3v3, but also at the same time, it reminds me of Injustice because Injustice does similar things where in Injustice, you hit somebody and you will like hit them all the way across to like a different part of the map or a different part of the world and then continue fighting. So this game does that as well, which is really cool. And like they have a word for it. It was like stage shift or something like that.
Station, yeah, something like yeah, you're right,
Yeah.
you're right. But I was gonna ask you, like, I'm not a huge fighting guy, you know, I don't play a lot of games like that. So, like, when you switch in this game,
Mhm.
there is they'll show like the timer. It's like maybe like 10 seconds long where you can't switch again.
Mhm.
You have to wait until the character go back to 0, and then you could call them again to do like combos or whatever.
Yeah.
Is it like that similar to the other fighting games too, or this is something new to you?
That's similar to other fighting games.
Okay, okay,
Yeah, yeah.
okay.
Like oftentimes you can't just like switch back and forth willy-nilly. You have to like recharge because essentially when you tag, you have two options. You can tag somebody to just like hop in and do a special move and then they'll hop out. Or if you hold it, they'll then permanently like switch. That way you're not playing as that new character. The reason why they have that cooldown is so that like you can't just spam like over and over again. I'm just calling it
Yeah, because that
invincible
would be
to do that.
cheating too after a
Yeah,
while. Yeah, yeah.
exactly. And so you had to balance it that way. And so
Yeah.
that's why they do it. One of the things I also want to shout out about this game that I think makes it a bit unique, is how violent it is sometimes. Like they have, you know how Mortal Kombat has like the brutalities where if you hit somebody with a certain move, their head will explode or something. They have that a lot in this game too, where I'm playing as Invincible and I finish somebody off with a move, and then like their head will explode or their body will explode. Another thing I noticed too, in that vein is like the levels, the Chicago level. If you look at that level at the beginning of a fight versus at the end of the fight, the levels get more destroyed as you go.
You're right. Yeah,
Yeah, there's
yeah.
like a lot of destruction based stuff going on, which I think is really cool. That was one of the things that jumped out at me.
I think the snow area, I think it's Himalayas. I'm not 100% sure that's the name of it.
Mhm.
You could see the snow coming down like in the background of mountains. Like it
Yeah.
gets like very crazy. I can't remember the things that popped up in the like when you're in the moon.
Mhm.
Was there something similar to like I can't
I
remember.
don't remember anything in the moon. Chicago was the one that
You
it
noticed
was
it a lot.
noticed because like
You can see a train. You can see like
yeah,
fire in the
there's, like,
background too.
actual things the moon, I think because it's just straight up the moon, there's not really much you can do with that. When I was the person I was sitting with, he, like, called it out specifically for Chicago because they just had a lot going on because, yeah, like, things are breaking, things are, like, coming out of the windows, right? Like, it's supposed to be this destroyed like, think about if you're an Invincible fan, think about, like, that season the I don't wanna spoil the season finale, but, like, when a big event happens in Invincible and like the city's getting destroyed type stuff. It's kind of happening in that environment. And so yeah, you'll see it happening in the background, but I think it might just be particular stages where that
I
happens.
see what you're saying. Now, one question I asked the developer and didn't want to say anything.
Mhm.
These are original voice actors from the show. He's like, more information coming soon.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he didn't want to tell us.
That's interesting.
Yeah, did you ask that question
I
too?
no, but I did ask if they have unique interactions because like
Oh
you know
no,
how
that yes,
and
it does.
they do, which excites me because that's the thing that I think you have to have in a fighting game, especially a licensed one like this. Like some of the most popular videos you'll find for Mortal Kombat or Injustice are like the unique character intros where like Joker is talking to Batman or Superman is talking to the Flash and like they're saying very specific things to each other. Yeah, they confirmed that like they're gonna have that in this game as well, which I think is very important and really exciting.
Do you see this game having a lot of potential for like the fighting community too? Because
Mhm.
I know they didn't want to say anything about evil, but man, that would be like the perfect place to show get like for the public to get hands on for the first time.
Yeah.
You know, so
I think so. I love going to Evo. You know, I'm big into fighting games. Love Street Fighter. Love Tekken. Uh, I think that this has a lot of potential. I think the quality of it. Well, one, I think you already mentioned it, right? But it's good to shout out that these are people that worked on Killer Instinct. And one of the things I noticed when I first got to the studio is I overheard the devs talking, and they were talking about like Marvel versus Capcom and like fighting game stuff. Like these are fighting game people.
I mean, even the name of the studio, Quarter Up.
Quarter up,
'Cause we were
yeah,
talking about like fighting games back in the '90s, them going to like the different stores, playing Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat. They put the
yeah,
quarter there, just waiting. You know, like we
yeah.
talked about that. So they're very passionate
These
about
are
fighting games.
very passionate people about fighting games, and playing the game and seeing it, I think quality-wise, it reminds me a bit of, like, Fatal Fury, if not even, like, a step above Fatal Fury, right? Like, it's not quite Street Fighter level as far as, like, how good Street Fighter feels and looks, and granted, like, the game's still a year away, so they can polish and do all that stuff, and maybe they can get it there, but even with me saying that I think it hits Fatal Fury level, that's a compliment. That's a big compliment because like not many fighting game developers are able to like hit that, right? Like when I think about the amount of fighting game developers, I think of Capcom, Namco, Arc System Works, and then like it starts to kind of like go down from there. And so like I mean SNK is in the conversation as well. I think this game is of that quality. And I think at the very least, my prediction is that after they launch this game, I think this will be at the first Evo after it launches, and then it'll be up to them to like update it and like balance it and polish it and like maintain the game to like keep it in the conversation. But I think they have the good match of the game is fun, it feels good to play, and they have a good IP. A lot of people love Invincible, and that world and those characters are fun and interesting. So
Let me ask you this question because forgot to ask this to the developers,
Mm.
and they're probably not going to answer. Do you think this game is going to have some type of story, at least for those that just want to play the story, or this is going to straight up multiplayer fight and that's about it? I think it will be a miss, a huge miss if they don't add stories. In my opinion.
That's a really good I didn't think to ask that either. That's a really good question. My prediction, man, it would be such a slam dunk because it is Invincible, but I do know how much work that is, and I don't see this as like a big developer. I think one of the things to note is that this is the first developer that is under Skybound, like Skybound's first video game developer, and I don't think it's like that big of a team, so I don't know if they'll have like the resources necessarily to create a full like story mode unless it's like a visual novel
I
kind
mean,
of
the
thing.
trailer looks like, oh, this is pretty cool.
The trailer did look really cool.
Right? Like at first, I'm like, wait, what is this? What is this? Like, I didn't know it was just like an action game or what. But then we started fighting, and we're like, okay, this is cool, cool.
Yeah,
So I think they probably have some type of story. I
I
think
hope so.
another thing that I asked, they didn't want to say anything. I asked who worked on the soundtrack.
Oh, that's a good question.
They didn't want to answer that question at all. So I'm
Interesting.
like, who worked on that?
Yeah, I
you know,
mean,
details coming soon. That's what they said to me.
2026, so like there's still like so much time left before we get to that like release. So I wonder if they're trying to play that stuff close to the chest.
Yeah.
That way they can have those like marketing beats on the way up to it. But yeah, that's a really good question too.
Yeah. Now, my last thing I want to say, and I know they worked on Killer Instinct. This kind of have that Killer Instinct vibe, especially when it comes to combos. Did you manage to do a lot of combos after a while? You got used to the game.
So yes, because the auto combo system is very friendly, right? So like the thing that I started off doing like you tap like square and then it'll auto combo into a super, but if you hold the tag button, you'll combo, tag in somebody, combo, tag in. Like you can kind of just do
And
that.
yeah, I think I did the most 60 to 70.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like I think that stuff works and is really fun. And then the developer that was sitting next to me was then telling me about different things that I can do to like, hit somebody up with my special and then hop up in the air, combo, tag people in. Like I think there's gonna be a lot of like fighting game skill that comes into play as far as like how to like extend your combos and like I think that's going I don't it doesn't play like Killer Instinct, but it kind of does have that it is a combo driven game as far
Yeah.
as I can tell. So yeah, no, I had a lot of fun like doing that stuff.
Do you see yourself playing this on arcade stick or just strictly
Ooh.
controller?
I prefer controller for fighting games, but I think plenty of people. I think if you're somebody who plays with arcade stick, this is definitely one that you're probably gonna want arcade stick for.
All
Because
right.
like the one thing I'll shout out too is like the control scheme, right? You have light, medium, heavy, but then one of the face buttons. So like for me, I was playing on an Xbox controller, so A was a special, and it's like directional. So it's kind of like Smash Brothers in that way. So it's like you click up in A or down in A, and it's doing different special moves, which is more player friendly, I think, and less hardcore. But even with that, yeah, like on a fight stick, like having your light, medium, heavy, and a special button, like that's gonna fit right at home.
Yeah. Anything else, Bless, before we wrap it up?
I don't have much. I'm excited for this. This
Yeah,
is
I'm excited too.
I think this is a really good idea. Really exciting announcement, and I can't wait to see more of it.
Yeah. Can't wait to hear more about it, and also other characters. Who else is going to be in the
Yeah.
game? Any predictions?
I mean, you gotta have like a lot of those main. Oh, I forget the name of their like. They have a Justice League essentially in Invincible. I forget what their name is, like the League of Heroes or whatever.
You talking about the old ones before? But I don't want to say sports.
Well, you
but
gotta
like,
have all. Of them.
yeah.
You gotta have like you gotta have the OG ones, and you
Okay.
gotta have the new ones. Yeah, I want all of them in there. I want the girl who makes copies of herself. I want the Oh, I'm trying to. I mean, you gotta have Omni Man.
Yeah,
I'm surprised Omni Man wasn't in the demo that we
that is
played.
that's pretty surprising.
Yeah,
Why is that?
They probably just don't have it prepared. Maybe.
Probably.
Yeah, I'm surprised. That's actually I didn't even think about that.
Interesting. That's a good point.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, you gotta have Omni Man.
Yeah.
So
All right, so we're gonna wrap it up here. So right now, I'm gonna play the interview with the executive producer of the game, and we'll be right back after this.